Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2, and welcome back to Linz, Austria. We're on our way to Vienna. It's not a very long trip. It might not be a very long episode. Maybe we'll pick up another cargo when we get there. I realized we hadn't recorded an ETS video in like, I don't know, almost 2 weeks. It's been a minute. So this skin, it's more or less the skin that we had on this truck previously. However, this truck was the first truck we skinned when we got back into Mod Studio. And as a result, it was sort of the most primitive. This is our new brand and our new colorway and everything. And this is the truck we started with. So after everything that we've learned skinning trucks in ATS, I came back and redid this one. And we also bought a cast Ekeri trailer, if I can pivot around carefully here. Ekeri trailer modded by Cast. Fantastic trailers. He's got like 4 or 5 different brands. We've got all of them in the mod folder, but I don't have enough money to buy all of them yet. So this is the first one we bought. It's the only one we own right now. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Yep, still running the Rabbinicus engine packs. And yep, that's everything. And I did pick up, last episode we were in Salzburg. We did pick up a cargo in Salzburg. And as we made our way down here, we ran into traffic and got all turned around, and things were not going well. So we don't have too far to go to Vienna. But I figured, let me just start again and do it right. So, that is what's going on. We'll go down here. And we need to detour around. So we're actually going to go, the quick way from Linz to Vienna is just go down the highway, but we need to go back down and around to Graz, I believe, to get around that detour. Right, so we'll get through here. So, man, there's a lot of traffic. I turned the traffic density up to 1.7, and it seems like more than that some days. That seems like a straight 2.0, but frame rate's still good, so we're gonna let it ride. So, what is going on? I've been getting this new gamepad sorted out. It's my first time on wireless, and one of the biggest surprises about this was when it goes to standby mode, when you bring it back, not all games recognize that it has come back. So I find that I need to reconfigure not all sims, and not all sims every time, but periodically a sim or a game just will not see the gamepad when it comes back on. And that is not something I expect. It's my first wireless gamepad. And obviously, you don't have that problem with wired. Although as gamers, we all have so many control devices plugged in. That's got to be challenging for a developer when they're setting up gamepad support or controller support. I know, we got the wrong turn signal on. I don't have enough fingers. When they're setting that up to try to... you don't want to make things unnecessarily complicated, but you also want to cover every possible contingency. And I think how many controllers is it typical to have now in PC world? How many controllers do most gamers have? I got like half dozen plugged in at the same time. Some games handle it no problem. Other games freak the F out, for lack of a better word. So that's one of those things. I know you can get, there are USB switches, but that's kind of hokey. I mean, it's like a physical switch. It's a hub with like a rotary dial on top, and it's got one USB out that goes into your PC. And on the front, it's got like half a dozen USB ports in, and by spinning that dial, you just determine which one is active. But it can cause problems. I think the best way to use it is when your machine is off. So in other words, if you know you're going to be flight sim, right, while your machine is off, you put that to indicate the USB that is hooked up to your yoke and your pedals and everything else. There's a problem with that though. Who turns their computer off these days? It goes to sleep, it goes to standby, but nobody turns their business off anymore. That's old school. So it's not an ideal solution. It's hokey, but I'm surprised that there aren't more virtual devices like that, where you can, just a simple desktop I don't know, it's not even an app, it's like a widget. Just a simple desktop item that you can indicate, I want these USB ports active and these other USB ports turned off. I know you can do it manually in Device Manager, but you need logical names for them and all that other stuff. So I would love to see that, because I have too many devices. Most Sims, like I said, most Sims and games are okay with it. Some really can't handle it. So that is what's going on. I do like the SteelSeries, though. I'm really happy with it. I'm thinking of going down and getting a SteelSeries headset, maybe Monday, because the one that I've got, man, I until I got back into gaming, which is a little over 2 years ago now, I guess it's closer to 3 years. In the past, like when I was a kid, I had never used up any type of gaming tech, any type of gaming hardware. I had never burned through an Xbox or a gamepad or a headset. And I know it's been a couple years since I was a kid. You would think that quality control and manufacturing, you'd think that stuff would be as good or better. So I don't know that it's necessarily a question of whether the equipment is as good a quality as it was a few years ago. But I think I'm just really gaming a lot. And I know this equipment is designed to be maybe not abused, but it's designed to see some hard use, because gaming it's evolving as my generation gets a little older and brings gaming with us. But for the most part, I think gaming is still considered to be kind of a kid's activity, and kids are a little rough on things. So things like gamepads, they need to be built to be knocked around a little bit. And for the most part, they put up with a tremendous amount of abuse. But it still amazes me that I've been able to wear out gaming technology. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know, not impressive. What's the word we're looking for? Can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of a cool thing. So, what else is going on? Iberia, Idaho, no word. It's got to be soon, though. It's got to be soon. Unless, and I really hope this isn't the case, unless those are going to be delayed and come out with 1.38. And who knows when 1.38 is coming out. So we will hope for the best. They'll be ready when they're ready, sir. There he goes. And now I got to find a good gear again. There it is. And other things have been announced. Those are going to happen in the next couple of months. You know all about those. I saw Dirt 5 scheduled for October. That's a minute from now. And I'm curious, Grid, when Grid came out, you see the first trailer and you think about other things that Codemasters does, like the F1 franchise and Dirt Rally, right? Some pretty realistic, what I think of as sims, right? Not game sims, not arcade sims, but sims. Well, they make those. And so when the new Grid was announced, I thought, yeah, this is going to be like that. And it came out, and it was more in the style of Forza. It's a cool game. I'm not putting it down in any way. It's a cool game. It's just not my style. When I saw F1 cars racing, I don't know, through some city and banging wheels, all right, that's cool. That's just a fun racing game to play. Good for you. It's not for me, but it's a cool game. Let's get slowed down a little bit here. And I still think of, Dirt 4 was, it didn't have very many cartoony aspects to it. It was pretty buttoned down. And now looking at Dirt 5, it does have more of that Forza feel to it, more of that Wreckfest feel to it. And, good for Codemasters. Let the Dirt Rally franchise be the serious franchise. And let the Dirt franchise be the fun one. Because Dirt Rally 2.0, as much as I enjoy it, I can't always describe it as fun. Did we hit the trigger, sir? There it is. I can't always describe it as fun. And that's one of those weird things. So you play this game and you don't enjoy it. Well, not exactly. It's satisfying, right? When you do something properly, when you put up a good time, when you win a stage, when you win a rally, it's satisfying. But in the meantime, it's just kind of grueling and exhausting. I mean, I've done 100% length races on F1 at master's difficulty or elite difficulty or whatever it is, 100% difficulty. It's not what it sounds like. It goes up to 120. 100 is hard. 120 is impossible. But I've done races at 100%, full length, with real damage and everything as far as realism maxed out. No traction control, no ABS. And an hour and a half later, when I get out of the chair, I am like absolutely beat up. It is rough. So to say to somebody like, oh yeah, this game looks like it might be fun, as though other games are not fun, yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated, this gaming life. So I don't know if I'll get it. I mean, I wasn't going to get SnowRunner. I thought it looked a little same, no big deal. And I got it kind of reluctantly. Turns out it's great. So we'll take a look at Dirt 5 when it comes out. Well, at the very least, we'll probably buy it to do a video for the channel. You know how that always works out. Yeah, new logo for Train Sim World coming. We got stuff for Assetto Corsa Competizione coming. We got stuff for Truck Simulator coming. Yeah, it should be a good summer. We'll see how it all plays out. And other than that, yeah, just been binging SnowRunner. Something that fascinates me about SnowRunner, right? Oh, all right. All of an instant, it's raining. Beautiful. Something that fascinates me about that game is, like, I think about how unique games are, and I mean, we're sort of plateaued in a way, because the games that we play are like, you think about a racing game. When I first played Gran Turismo years ago, I thought, oh God, this is like driving a race car. But on some level, in some part of my mind, I knew, no, it's not like driving a race car. I mean, the first Gran Turismo didn't even have a cockpit cam, did it? It had like a bumper cam. And then we got cockpit cam, but they were all generic cockpits, were they not? And then they began to become unique. And man, I can remember stuff like when your driver took their hand off the steering wheel to shift. That was like, oh, snap. The realism. Look at it. Right? And we move all the way through till today, where we have things like tire modeling with heat and degradation. A sim like Race Room, where your tires can be too cool. They can also be too hot. Right? It's just unbelievable amounts of detail. Aerodynamic damage on Assetto Corsa Competizione that might take like quarter second per lap, half a second per lap. It's not bad. It's not bad until you're running 50 laps like that. Missed the trigger again. Did I, sir? There it is. I don't want to hit the bar, but I'm not even hitting the trigger. So we always think games are not necessarily as good as they can get, but at a certain point it's like, oh yeah, this is good enough, I guess. Good enough. And for something like original Gran Turismo, even though we said this is good enough, I think we recognized it's just good enough for now, but it's going to get better, and it did. But we're plateauing, at least on the race sim side, because at a certain point, games will be, I don't know, able to fool us, right? And at that point, where do you go? We can keep tuning up graphics. We can keep tuning up physics modeling and that sort of thing, but it really has, we've gotten into an area of diminishing returns. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good, There is such a thing as an end of history epoch. I'm going to turn my wipers off here, like so. And I think sometimes, at least when it comes to sim gaming, we're getting to that point. And what that leaves developers with is the sort of unenviable task of continuing to polish games that they really can't fundamentally change. So something like a racing game. I mean, I've got a sports car sim, I've got an F1 sim, I've got a rally sim. I love all of them. I know they will get incrementally better as the franchises continue to evolve. But there's not going to be any like groundbreaking race sim, because the ones that we have are already so close to reality, right? What could be added? And when I get in a game like SnowRunner, I think this is, I know it's an evolution of Mud Runner, but the concept is so unique that in a way it is more impressive than something like a crazy realistic race sim, because a crazy realistic race sim, you're sort of working with a known quantity, and that known quantity is racing, which is something everybody's familiar with, everybody knows, right? Gearheads all know about the race scene and what in-car cameras look like and what cars sound like, and right, we know about that stuff. But something like driving heavy trucks in mud, that is a real thing. That does happen in real life all around the world every day. I get that. But bringing that to gamers and making the experience compelling and making it feel realistic and making it challenging and fun and satisfying and frustrating and balanced and, I don't know, fun, right? Fun. Something that you can do for a while, for a minute. What a crazy goal that is to have. And I think, truck sim strikes me as a very unique concept in gaming. And as a gamer, I think if somebody explained this to me, if I was just coming out of racing sims and somebody explained this to me, like if my only background was race sims, that's like a race sim, but instead of driving a race car, you're driving a heavy truck, and instead of racing, you're just driving. Well, I can sort of wrap my mind around that conceptually, but the idea that it would resonate with me this strongly, I don't think that I would necessarily get that from a description. Sir, what are you doing back there? I gotta make my move, buddy. And so we as gamers, I think we have an advantage in that we understand some of the rules of gaming and some of the tropes, right? For people that aren't into gaming, they don't necessarily have that understanding of and when I say rules, I don't mean rules like the rules of a particular game. I mean things that happen within gaming, within a game, that are to a standard, I guess, to a spec, so that when we as gamers hop in for the first time, things make sense. It may be challenging, it may be impossible, but at least it makes sense because the developer has followed the rules of gaming, right? So for us, we have those expectations, but for people that aren't into gaming, I guess that's my benchmark. There are some games that it's difficult for me to even explain to people in a way that they can conceptualize. And what I meant earlier is we as gamers, like, we've got the rules and we understand, there are some oddball games out there. We've all seen games. Maybe we haven't played them, but we understand that there is everything that you can do. Whoa, sir. Everything that you can do in real life, just about you can do in a game. But for people that aren't into gaming, that's a really foreign idea. And even something as simple as racing, you're talking to, like, I'm a grown-up, right? My friends, I don't know, they're grown-ups as well, but they just, something happened after college. It's like we went different directions. And trying to explain gaming to them and what gaming is today, and just seeing the sort of blank look on their face for people that their last experience with gaming was Mario Kart or something. I wouldn't say that it makes me sad, but this world can feel, not isolated, that's not the right word. When you get deep enough into gaming, the only people that really understand what the hell you're talking about when it comes to gaming are other gamers, because it's just become so specific and so detailed. And I guess that leads back around to my original thought, which is, where can developers take it? As it gets more and more realistic, what is going to be left? So something like SnowRunner impresses me because it is so unique. I really do find it to be just as a concept, something that, I don't know, has there ever been anything else like it? And I'm not, I always have to clarify, I'm not like a fanboy for the game. If you don't like it, that's cool. You know, I'm sure there are plenty of games that you like that I don't. That's fine. You know, it's not, I'm not trying to get you to buy it or anything. It's just something that I'm really enjoying, and the idea of it. I know there have been like four-wheeling games, like small truck games, pickup truck games, but I feel like those, they never really went anywhere. I saw a couple in early access. I don't think they made it out of early access, and they were after Spin Tires. And I know there have been some like dune buggy games, but that was more speed. I don't know if there has ever been, I mean, I know I certainly have never played a game as slow and methodical as any game in the series, or the two series now. So I do think it's unique, and the way that they executed the active mud and terrain deformation and everything else, it is just entirely unique. And I think so many games are, it's not that, be careful when I say this, because I know developers like pour their heart and soul into making these games for us. It's not that they're not unique, but they are continuing evolutions of a pre-existing concept. Whereas something like Spin Tires, Mud Runner, Snow Runner, it's like a whole new concept. Star Citizen, I think, is going to be entirely new in that way. And I know years ago there was Second Life. That was like the first crack at it. But when I hear things about Star Citizen, or when I see the gameplay where you can like take off from a spaceport, just go up into the atmosphere, continue moving away from the planet until you pass into space, find a wormhole, come out the other end of it, approach a planet, move down through the atmosphere, and land at a spaceport with no loading screens. I mean, that's next level, right? That's innovative. That's really, I don't think there's ever been anything like it, or that you can get into some of these worlds. And I'm watching myself on these bends here, because we've got, as always, trailer stability is turned nearly off. Trailer stability and truck stability now as well. So, what was I complaining about? Star Citizen, yeah. Or even the gameplay where they just fly through these cityscapes that go on endlessly, right? Even big world sandbox games. Eventually, you get to the invisible barrier that says you're at the end of the world. With something like Star Citizen, the way that they're putting it together, I'm not seeing that. It's like these worlds just go on forever. It's an incredibly simple concept, and yet nobody's thought to do it before, or nobody's cracked the code. Nobody's figured out a way to do it before. So those sorts of games, even though they are in a way not quite unimpressive, let me think how I want to say this. They do what they do so well, it almost ruins the trick, right? Do a magic trick too well, and nobody's impressed because they can't really understand what they just saw. You gotta, you know what I mean? And so some of these games, they do what they do so seamlessly and so well that we as gamers, and certainly non-gamers, have a hard time understanding why that is so amazing. Let me get through these bends here. I mean, even something like Division 2, when you come out of a cutscene that there's no load, you just start again, right? It's a small thing, but it's very impressive. So we'll see. I mean, when I see coverage of like 24 hours of Le Mans, right? And particularly at night, there's so many little points of light around the track. There's so many light sources. There's so many things just happening. The area is so alive. Even the fact that it's essentially a giant rave carnival that goes on all night. And there's so much light from the facilities around the track reflecting up onto the low clouds and mist and atmosphere that it never really gets dark. It's not like 24 hours of the NERB where it gets, you know, dark out there. Man, I hope we make it into Vienna before we fall asleep. It's been a long time since I've fallen asleep on a trip, and I don't think we have enough time to sleep because we've already gotten a warning that our customer is awaiting delivery, so we can't stop. But I think we're nearly there. I think it's just a couple more exits. Right, so that race, late night, it's there is so much light and there's so many little details around the track. So when I'm in something like iRacing at Cirque du Soleil, or even Project Cars 2, which has a ton of detail and really good lighting at night, it still doesn't have that same, it's not grit. It's a hard word to describe. It's I don't know. It just seems incomplete when you compare it to the original. And that would make sense because technology and even things like RAM, I mean, I'm sure you could make a game that is 100% realistic in terms of those details, but what kind of RAM would it require? Would anybody even be able to play it? So we'll get there, but I guess in the meantime, you know, those sorts of details is really all that's left for developers to work on. You know, bringing those little details in one at a time. And as those things are brought into gaming, eventually it will be indistinguishable from reality. But not quite there yet. I don't know. It's not that I want more innovative games, and I certainly have no complaints with the games and sims that I'm currently playing. You know, those 3 race sims that I mentioned earlier, I got no complaints about any of them. They play well on my machine, which is by no means a powerhouse. It's powerful enough, but it's not a weapon. They play well, they look great. I can run everything on Ultra and still maintain good frame rate. I'm fine. I'm perfectly content. And so we'll see what every evolution will bring. And I don't know, I guess wait and see what the next game changer will be, so to speak. You know, when is the next Final Fantasy going to be released? Or even, I guess in a way, even Mario Kart. Back in the day, that was, it's quaint now, but old school games, Age of Empires, you know, that just had that perfect balance and almost infinite LAN playability. I can remember spending a lot of time, probably too much time, playing Age of Empires on LAN back when that was how it was. All right, so we need to definitely, whoa, trailer stability. We need to definitely get this whip parked. But the rain did stop, so that's nice. Does that make any sense? Sometimes I worry I'm not making sense when I'm talking to you. All right, so right through here. I know, gotta get the wipers turned off. All right, I believe we are just about there. Gotta get lift axle up. That's good. And yeah, man, we got about another 5K to go. I hope we make it. We just got our first fine. I believe we will be able to make it into Vienna before we doze. Yeah, it's been a long time since I wrecked a truck falling asleep. I want to say at least a year. Maybe a little longer. You know, I bitch about this game being long in the tooth, but it does have its moments. It can look really, really good. All right, Vienna, and we just need to make, oh, perfect. We're going to get a green light here. We just need to make, looks like a right, and we will be at the depot. Fantastic. All right, not there. Certainly looked like our turn. Okay. And we're not running any graphics mods right now. We're not running Natural Lux. We're not running anything. I don't know that all that's been patched up to 1.37, but I know I deactivated it when 1.37 went into beta. Oh, this is going to be close. here. Beautiful. All right, we made it. Fantastic. Oh, that was dicey. That was dicey, but we made it. All right. Right in here. Where's our stall? Right there. So we go over here. Man, I'm so pleased with Mod Studio. Mod Studio 2. Tweez. I don't have enough nice things to say about it. It's a great app. It's a great crew, too. If you got any questions, they will sort you out. Right. So we come right over here. Pull out in the street just a little bit. Let me get this lined up. Here we go. I've never fallen asleep in a parking lot making a delivery. This would be a first. Oh, there we go. Dozing. Not quite dozing yet, but we're getting close. All right. There you have it. Neutral. Lights off. Engine off. Let's see how we did. Late. How late were we? Oh, no. All right, well, I made a little bit of money. A little bit of money. There you go. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2. See you next time. Take care now.